Wow, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for allowing us to be here. As a family, we're humbled and blessed through Luke's wings. And the word that keeps coming to my mind is touched. We've been touched through Luke's wings. We're grateful to all of you who have given in the past and all of you who are giving tonight and will give in the future to help families like ours to be with their veteran loved one in hospice care. Being there at the VA hospital and getting to meet my brother's friends was so touching. And what Luke's Wings did in bringing our family together to be with my brother was a very honoring and loving thing to do. I know for my brother, he felt very cared for when he heard about what Luke's Wings is doing. He knew he wasn't forgotten. He was very touched that Luke's Wings would provide our family treasured time together. It really was treasured time. I got to spend many days and many nights sleeping on the floor by his bed, and his daughter Chelsea was there, and we realized we couldn't leave. We both thought with our jobs, I'm a school teacher and a coach, and we both thought we're going to visit, and then we're going to go and come back, and we just know we can't leave. And so we enjoyed a lot of special times with my brother, laughter, a lot of tears too. But then as it went into weeks, we both were getting so drained, and we were like spent. And we were struggling watching Terry decline, because to me, he was my big brother. He was the strong one, great athlete. He was our military guy, and my other brother's a military man as well. And when my brother would come visit us, he was getting, in New Jersey, he was getting worse with the canes and the walker, but he kept telling me about this thing that was happening at the VA hospital, but he never told me how the magnitude of it was. When I got there and saw and met and spent a lot of time with young men just coming back from overseas, middle-aged and older men that were veterans, I was blown away because they would take me out in the hallway and tell me their stories of how my brother had helped them. Some of them said he even saved their lives when they were ready to take it. So I was really blessed getting to see my brother in his element. He had been serving as chairman of the VA Council and one-on-one peer counseling with veterans for 10 years. But for the last 8 years, he would have to get himself on a bus with a walker and get there. And I was like, why do you do that to yourself? But when I got there, I understood why. And I was so blessed to be with them. But as he then went into hospice care, it was hard for his veteran friends to go down into that part of the VA hospital, and I understood that. A couple of them stuck with it and came, but we'd walk out in the hall afterwards and they would collapse. These grown men in my arms, and then they told me their war stories, but they told me about what Terry had been doing, listening to them, helping them to be able to cope, to get back in life, to be patient, to go on. But at the time when my brother's daughter and myself were at our lowest, Luke's Wings came through, and I would have to say they brought in reinforcements, and it was our family. And our family members brought in through Luke's Wings and this reinforcement of family, they brought in such love and encouragement right into that hospice room. It was awesome. And my brother's smile, to see my husband Bruce come in, it really strengthened all of our hearts. And as my brother was approaching the end of his earthly life, his greatest need was to be ready to die and not be afraid. So when Luke's Wings sent in my husband Bruce, and he walked through that door, he went right over to my brother's bedside and he held his hand. My brother could still talk a little bit at that point. And Bruce asked, "Can I read you God's word?" My brother said yes. And Bruce read God's word to him and prayed with my brother, and Terry just seemed comforted and trusting, and it was just such a blessing. And having my husband there refreshed me and my niece, my brother's daughter. It helped us just to be able to go on, because we had more days and another week to care for my brother. Some of my most treasured memories after being refreshed were playing the guitar by my brother's bedside all night. And the next morning seemed that his time was coming to an end on this earth. And I had the privilege of just touching his face and singing to him and encouraging him, telling him how much we love him, but reminding him of the words of Jesus when he said, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house are many mansions, and I go to prepare a place for you. And I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through me." And I said, "Terry, are you ready?" He couldn't talk at that moment, but I know he could hear. And just that connection there. And I'm like, just go, just go. And my brother passed peacefully into the arms of Jesus with us around on his side. And the way that the VA, they're so honoring the way that they treat their veterans, and I was blessed to be there. And because he had served in the hospital for those 10 years, they did a big service for him there. And afterward, I was touched to watch our son, Joshua, and his wife, Allison, take my brother's daughter, my niece, and take her for a walk along the river and bring such comfort to her and joy in the midst of sorrow. So I, again, just want to say thank you to Luke's Wings, and thank you to each of you who support and who give. And I pray that it would continue in the future to help other families like ours to be able to have loved ones brought in to their veterans who are in hospice care. Thank you so much. God bless you.